Hey, good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? So let me first see. Okay, so we have around 250 students. That great. So first of all, I welcome you all to yet another Essentials program. Today we are going to start a new fresh batch of Node.js Essentials. So before we move ahead, right, I'd like to know about you all guys, like from where all you guys are joining. So if you can just go and mention in the chat, right, whether you're joining from which city or which state you guys are joining, so that will actually help us understand where our students actually are. So to start with, I am joining currently from Mumbai. So please go ahead and mention the chat. Hey, hi, good evening, Sneha, Prabjot, Adnan. Okay, so around 300 students, that's a good amount of students. Let me just place your chat also so I can actually see you. Brown is asking what prerequisite do I need for backend developer. So to answer that, right, what prerequisites you actually need depends on which language you are going, right? So if you are doing planning to doing JavaScript, the language which you are going to use is either going to be Node.js, right? So you'll have to be required to have good knowledge in JavaScript or advanced JavaScript. Okay, so I see a lot of answers coming. So we have uh, Pune, Ghaziabad, Mumbai, Muzaffarnagar, Indore. Okay, we have someone from Ukraine as well. That's great. So let me just give me a minute. I'll just quickly stop this banner. Great. So yeah. So before we move ahead, right? Let me also just take the trainer for the day on the screen. So I'll just introduce you and just brief you, right? Before see, let me just set the agenda very clear. Before we move ahead, right? I'd like to take a few minutes to explain you how things will work. When I say how things will work, right? So what is that you guys have to follow? When I say what you guys have to follow is what are those steps to complete your essential program successfully, right? How you have to attend, how you have to put on your attendance, how your exam is going to be, where you can see your certificates and everything. So I'll just take 5-10 minutes and then we can actually start with learning the actual Node.js. So before that, I'll just welcome upon stage Sanjay Kumar, one of our star
Yeah.
trainers for the web
Oh,
development.
hello. Okay. Good evening and good evening, everyone. Yes. Uh,
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. And what about you, sir?
I'm all good. I'm all good. So एक और class,
Okay.
sir. Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure. One
let
more.
me,
Yeah.
yeah. So one more session. So to
Hmm.
just introduce you very quickly, of course, he will introduce himself. But
Yeah, sure.
Sanjay
That.
Kumar sir has joined Let's Upgrade in the early days, and almost you can say 10-15 batches almost delivered successfully, and also teaching our full stack students and making them into the best web developers outside. So that's a short intro. I'll give him a chance to introduce about himself and tell him what he has achieved.
Yes.
So one thing
Yeah.
you guys have to keep in mind, right? These 3 days, right? Today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, your 3 day session, you have to get as much as knowledge as you can get out of Sanjay Kumar, and I actually utilize it to build things in Node, just like APIs or anything, your servers, spin your
Yeah.
own server, right? So I'll just
Yeah.
give me quickly. I'll share my screen. So meanwhile, I'm sharing my screen, right? I'll just ask you a quick question. You have to answer, right?
Hmm.
What is Node.js? Okay, is it a library? Is it a framework? Is it a runtime? What is it? Right? You have to just answer. You have to answer in the chat, guys. And let me see how many of you guys actually know what Node.js is. Is it a JavaScript library? Is it a JavaScript framework? Is it a JavaScript runtime? Okay. Meanwhile, I just share my screen. I need
Hmm.
answers in the chat, guys.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Okay.
we
Some
have
of the people have
frameworks.
answered correctly. Yeah. We have frameworks and we have runtimes and all. I think
So
most of the
framework,
people feels
framework,
like it's.
framework. Yeah. So a lot of people actually know what Node.js is.
Okay.
So
Uh,
yeah, so guys, the correct answer is it's a runtime. Okay,
yes, it
it's
is a
not a
runtime.
framework. Okay, so to just so of course Sanjay sir will teach you about all Node.js and
Yeah.
what
Sure.
it is.
Hmm.
And to just give you a small hint, what Node.js basically does is takes JavaScript out of the browser. That's the one line definition what
Yeah.
Node.js does, right? So yeah, so first of all, I welcome you all to the Node.js essential program. As it mentioned, the zero to hero to clear your concepts, basics, and Let's Upgrade. To introduce Let's Upgrade, we are an edtech startup, a 2-year-old startup, and what we specialize in is in placing candidates and making sure you take the right decision about your career in tech. right? So with so many options available in the market of which program to pursue, whether you go for data science or web dev, if you are not sure what you have to learn, you just come to us, see our programs, enroll, learn the basics, and then take a decision. Everything is live, and the trainers we have are industry professionals. So today we are starting with the Node.js session, 3 days, and you have to make sure that 3 days you are attending it live. I am going to be here with you to take your queries and answer the trainer. I am actually also going to learn with you guys, right? So 3 days I'm also going to attend and make sure that I also understand Node.js end to end, right?
Mhm.
So first of all, right, if you guys have not attended, you can say registered, all you have to do is just head over to letsupgrade.in. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, all you have to do is go and visit letsupgrade.in and head over to the programs tab, or you just you can do is, yeah, just open letsupgrade.in, log in or create an account if you don't have an existing one. Just scroll down and find Node.js, and just I'll just tell you how. And enrollment is the very important step, because the certificates, exams, your attendance is everything linked to your profile, right? So you have to just go and enroll, and that's it. You will get a notification that yes, you are successfully enrolled. We're just doing the backend work. You should see a pop-up by now. Just a minute. Yeah, so you have been enrolled into the Node.js class, and you can just, and now you have the actual access to the Node.js program. Now the second step, right, once you have enrolled into the program, the very important thing is marking your attendance, right? So how do you mark your attendance? Quickly, you can see in the description, right, the link to the Google form will be there. Make sure that you are using the same email ID which you are used for registering for the program, so that we get to know, yes, you are the exact student. And students who are actually joining from YouTube directly without registering, you have to first go and register for this program. Registration is very mandatory. If you're also watching the recorded video, right, as it is mentioned, mark your attendance and you can fill the attendance as I am watching in the recorded. Uh, Prabjot, this session is going to be of 90 minutes. So 90 minutes today, 90 minutes tomorrow, 90 minutes day after tomorrow. 3 days, 90, 90, 90 minutes. And we are going to cover the basics. And by the end of this program, right, you should be able to spin your own Node.js servers. And how to give you exam, right? See, first step is registration. Second step is to mark your attendance. Third step is to give an exam. So once you complete marking attendance and attending sessions for 3 days, you will be getting a small exam within 24 to 48 hours of your session ending, which you have to go and complete. And once you complete, you will get a certificate. Now whatever I've said, right, I'll just show you a small demo where to register, as I have shown, where to see your exams, where certificates are going to be, right? Yeah, so this is what your certificate is going to look like. You will be having an NSADC and ITM certification on it, and you will be needing 200 LU coins. That is just 3 referrals you have to do, around 3 referrals, and you will have 200 LU coins in your profile, which is required to pass an exam. You need to score 40%. So it's a 15 question exam. 15 question into 40% is what you are required to clear the exam. Okay, so let me just show you. So this is where you go and register, and in the top right, in the top right, let me just zoom in. This is where you will be able to see your exams. So I'll just open this. This is where you can see your current LU coins, that I have 28 LU coins. So if I have to enroll into this program and get that certificate, I need to get 200 LU coins. I can do it by enrolling into multiple programs. I can do it by sharing this program with my friends who will enroll. Sanjay sir is going to teach the whole Node.js. I am just going to represent you in this whole program and be a part of a student community here. Let me just open a few links to give you the overview. You can actually ask your doubts. This is very important for you to understand how things are going to work for you. Yeah. So let me just, okay, so I don't have any exams in this profile as of now. So once I complete the batch, right, I'm going to see a new exam available here, which I have to go and you can say apply for and give this. So currently it will also show blank if you are registering for the first time. If you are already a student, they will show existing exams for you. Now let me just put some random text, or let me do something. So then you have to just put some, I'll just put random text. Your certificates are going to come here. You should make sure that you are putting your actual address. Okay, once you put actual address, you are going to shape appreciation letters, and by 45 to 60 days you will be having them in your hand. So make sure you are keeping a proper address in this. I'll just put some random text. Okay, so this is taking time. Meanwhile, while that is loading, now your question might be right. How many of you might be saying, I don't have value coins or something. All you need to do is go to this. Where is that? Yeah, go to this refer and earn tab. Okay, if you don't have value coins, you can just take these are free programs, of course free programs. You can just take this and share it on your WhatsApp story, your WhatsApp groups, and as many as people will click and enroll into that program, that many value coins you will get, and which you can see there here, right? And also one more thing, going back to the PPT, we have something amazing for people who you can see you will get rewards as in scratch cards. And second thing is, the more LU coins you earn, right, you also top the leaderboard. You have to show you how leaderboard looks like. It's going to be like this, and you will currently Shahul is on the top. So every month we have a leaderboard price distribution. So you can earn by referring to your friends or your college or whatever you group are part of. You can earn monthly rewards. It can be a you can say Bluetooth headphones, smartwatch, Amazon coupons, and much more. So this is, you can say, the gist of how the program is going to run. Again, to summarize before we move ahead, first is registration. Second, attend the session for 3 days continuous. Third is apply and give the exam. And once you complete the exam, get your certificate, which you can download from the certificate dashboard. I guess now the states, okay, now this I hit reload, I guess. So I'll show you in at the end of the session or something. I'll show you. It's on my different ID. So I'll just open that meanwhile and show you how certificate you can download by clicking on the 200 LU buttons. Okay. So any doubt about how your program is going to work, how about attendance, or about, you can say, how many days, how many sessions how many time it's going to be? Yes, it's a free course. So Node is to be written in HTML or like CSS. It's not HTML CSS, it's JavaScript. Okay, so you are going to write Node in JavaScript. So that's the whole forte of Sanjay sir. So I'll bring Sanjay sir in the limelight, and I'll be just sitting
Oh,
behind.
oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so let me just, how do I switch?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think okay. So hello guys, and my name is Sanjay Kumar, and I am a full stack developer. And I have experience of almost 3 years of teaching interns, and also currently I'm training in training students in LetsUpgrade. So today we are going to learn about Node.js and how actually backend development works. So our focus is actually going to be like it's not just only about Node.js. It's going to be about how backend technologies work, how we particularly develop application that may work like a Facebook or Instagram. So this is the whole focus, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter like if you know 1,000 syntax. The basically what does matter is like you understand the things. So that is going to be most important part, and we are going to cover all the basics and a lot of cool things. And at the end of this our session, we will be developing an API that you can deploy on a server, and you can like work as a professional backend developer. Okay, so for the beginners, it's going to be a very good start, and I hope I can make you comfortable with the backend. And here I can see okay, so that's all. So do let me know in the chat, should we start our session? So just do let me know in the chat. And let me first share my screen, because in my one of my previous session I just forgot to share my screen, and I was like kept on saying and saying and that. So just do let me know in the chat, am I audible, am I visible, and my screen is clearly visible to you. Just let me know in the chat. Okay. uh yeah, sure, I'm going to explain all the things once more. Oh, what is his name? MP, yes. For the attendance, uh you are getting a link in the chat. There you can click, and okay. So okay, let's start our session. So first of all, what is this backend development is? Okay, so first and foremost, I think I'm really very confident that you have heard about the front end part. Like you have heard about the front end development. Let me just tell you what is this front end development is. In the front end, you basically work with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript mainly. Then you can also work with React.js and Angular and all, but most of the time you are going to use these three things. And by using these three things, you are going to basically make UIs. And what is this UI? User interface, in a very cool terms. User interface. In a nutshell, these are buttons, those colorful things that you click, that you play around with. So that basically represent the front end part. But by front end by itself is just like a skeleton. It's just like a body without a soul. Each and every front end requires a soul, obviously. Otherwise we won't be able to talk with it, or it just that body. So that's why we have some kind of backend technologies or API or something like that. So that is basically the backend part. So for example, let's just take an example of Facebook, because or Instagram, because we are very much familiar with the Instagram. So the app that you are using is the front end part of that application. Okay, so let's just assume that here, and don't mind my drawing today because I don't have my mouse, so I have to use my trackpad. So just ignore my drawing skills, okay, for now, but mostly I'm really good with it also. So here we have our Instagram. Okay, Insta. So the thing that you see on your mobile phone is the front end. But as soon as you send a message, you post a picture, you like someone's post. So that all things, that logical part, that thing that make Instagram, basically works in the background, not in your mobile phone, somewhere in any other computer around the globe. And there is a program that is keeping on running, and the whole job of this program is to connect you with all the users of the Instagram, and like your post and all kind of the things that make Instagram. So this is the backend part. So mostly you don't may hear about the backend, but it's the soul. And I think you have heard about some kind of thing like server crash again and all. So these things happens in the backend only. So how to make a backend? Like what is this server and all we are talking about? So in a nutshell, again, server is nothing, just it's a computer. It's my laptop, it's your laptop, it's your computer, and even your mobile phone. Anything that can compute, that anything that have a CPU can be a server in a very basic terms. But what makes a server different from a regular laptop or computer? The difference is the basically difference. I think we have two differences. First of all, that machine that should be connected to the internet, okay, through like any mode, it should be connected to the internet. Then it should have a special program, that is special program that can accept the request from the internet and can send a response. Right now my laptop or your mobile phone can only receive this request response. Okay, so you can visit YouTube, okay, and you can watch a video, but I cannot connect to your phone directly. So you have to we have to write a program for that. So I know it sounds so complicated in the starting, but don't worry, these things are so easy to understand, so don't worry. So our whole goal is to develop a program, basically a software application that is going to run on my computer. Okay, and that application you can write in any language of your liking. You can go with Python, Java, and JavaScript that we are going to use, and C++ and all. But then why JavaScript? Why we are using Node.js? So the reason behind we are using Node.js, first of all, it uses JavaScript, and JavaScript is awesome because we can work with JavaScript in the front end also, and also we can use it in the back end. So it's a win-win situation. And also Node.js is very good at some of the specific things. It's very good. And foremost, like it have one of the most wide job of rich opportunities. And what we want money, and money can we can get from a job. So that's why we are using Node.js. So here, uh, like what is this Node.js now? What is this Node.js? As sir ask you a question like what Node.js is. So let's just define a Node.js. And we are not going to like, I'm not going to teach you, to be honest. I'm going to make you learn things. So we are going to talk, and I'm going to like I'm just going to give you some gyan, and that's all. So here, okay, let's just open the official website for Node.js. Node.js. Okay. So here we have a Node.js website. So we, before Node.js, okay, life before Node.js, JavaScript, we can use JavaScript only in the browser. So let me just show you an example. So here I'm opening a console panel. So if you, some of you who are familiar with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript may be familiar with this concept, and if you're not, don't worry. It's so here I can type a console.log hello. Okay. So here our JavaScript is running in my browser. Why? How my JavaScript is running in a browser? For that, we need to understand how programming language actually works. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap. So basically, our laptop or a computer, a CPU, basically a CPU can only understand zeros and ones. Okay, it cannot understand anything more than that, zeros and one. But the problem is this: that I cannot talk in zeros and ones, and either neither you can. But I want to make my computer do something. So how we are going to perform that? For that, we have something called compilers or interpreters. Okay, and basically we have programming languages. So let's just take an example of JavaScript. So JavaScript is a programming language that for that we have a compiler or an interpreter that I'm going to explain you, and that is a software basically that's going to convert my JavaScript into zeros and ones. And after those things are converted to zeros and ones, my laptop or computer can understand this thing. So my browser, basically this browser have that particular compiler, that particular thing that can understand JavaScript, and that can convert that JavaScript into zeros and ones. So my browser, each and every browser, it could be Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Internet Explorer, if you are into Internet Explorer, and Safari and all. So we each and every browser has some kind of compiler that is going to convert JavaScript into zeros and ones, and then it's going to be understood by our computer, and we see something on our screen. So there was a guy, and I don't I'm not getting recalling that name. So Node.js developer.
So let's ask the students to go and search about it. Okay, so guys,
Oh yeah.
there's a one question we have to go and research. That's
Huh.
search basically. Who is the author of
Hmm.
Node.js? Okay,
Oh sorry.
and who
Yeah.
who developed? Yeah, so don't show answers, sir. So
Yeah,
who
yeah,
actually
yeah.
went and developed Node.js? You have to just go and
Hmm.
search and put in the chat, guys, very quickly. Let's see who answers it first. Okay,
Okay.
and if you guys are already
So
following him,
huh.
okay, if you guys are already following him, you can also search that what is he doing now, what is he building now. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that is like two questions which you can just go. So I guess the
Oh
screen is going in an infinite loop.
yeah, I can see that. Okay, let me just fix that.
So okay, so I am waiting for answers, guys. Okay, let's see who
Hmm.
gives the answer first.
I think this stream is okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we
Raz
have the answers.
Raziv,
And
yes.
okay, so
Yes,
second
we.
question. Okay, so first answer
Huh.
was by Rajiv. Okay,
Hmm.
so Rajiv is the guy who has given the first answer. So a big shout out to Rajiv. Okay, and now
Clap, clap.
second question, what is he doing now? What is he doing now? So okay, someone is like Makarand, I guess is related to the engineering field, engineer Randall. Okay, so what is he doing now? What is in okay? So he's building Deno. Okay, so if you guys can relate, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Nodedeno. So he's just building a better version of Node. There were some,
Yeah.
minute things which they
Hmm.
ignored at the start of Node, and they had to suffer now. And like say security concerns and everything, and that's why he's
Yeah.
building Deno now. Okay, so Ryan, yeah. So yes, so we can continue. So we have Rajiv who has
Yeah.
given the first.
Given the first answer. Okay, congratulations by the way. And okay, so he was the guy who just thought that what if we just pick out that particular compiler out from the browser and we can install in our machine. So that's the whole concept behind Node.js. So basically, it's just that compiler that has been took out from a browser and installed in our machine. And it's not just JavaScript that do these kind of things. Even if you like some of you may be using Java or something like that, you used to install something called Java virtual machine, something like that. That's also something that's maybe similar to Node.js. So I'm just trying to make some kind of connection if you're coming from any other language. So how to install the Node.js? So it's very easy to do. Just go to your browser, just type Node.js, and let me close this. So here we'll find the download. So just click over it, and you can use the here we have long term support. Then we have current version. So it's the latest and bleeding edge version of the Node.js, and it's the like it's most stable version. So you can go with any of them, but I will prefer to go with long term support. So it's stable, and it's because Node just keep on evolving, and some of the new features keep just popping out into Node.js. So that's why. and you can use install this Windows installer, Mac OS installer, and or you just can download the source code also. So just download the Windows version, because I am using a Windows machine. Just click over to download, and all you have to do is to open the software, and it's very simple and easy to do. Just do next, 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 and it's like it's just it's same as installing any other software. Just accept the condition and next, 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 and next, next, next. Okay, so don't touch anything. So it's very easy to do. Okay, so I have already installed Node.js, that's why I'm not going to do that again. And to check if it is installed successfully, just go to your CMD or PowerShell and type node, Node hyphen dash v, and you will see that I am getting here version 16.14.0. So basically it's saying me that like your Node.js is installed on a machine successfully, and the version of the Node.js. So here we have node hyphen v, and you can see that my node is successfully installed. It was installed previously. So I hope maybe some of your people are going to face an issue of environment variables, but in the latest version of Node, it doesn't matter. It automatically sort out. So if in any case you feel any kind of this environment problem, so just let me know in the tomorrow session. Okay, I will fix that for you. So now let's just create our first software using Node.js, and we are just going to run that software using Node.js. Okay, and we are going to write that software, basically application software, as you can call it anything. So let me just create a new file. Let's just first open VS Code. So VS Code is the code editor that I'm going to use, and the pre-requirement for this course, like you have to know about the JavaScript basically. Okay, so let's just create a new file. I'm going to name it index.js, and here we have a JavaScript file. As you can see here, we have a index.js. Okay, now let's just type console log, and we have to say hello first, because it is very necessary to say hello first. And now save this. So we have successfully created our first application using Node.js. So it's easy as that. And how to execute, how to run this program? So it's very easy again. Just open your terminal, type here node, and that name of that file, index.js, and press enter. And you can see I'm getting an output of hello world here in the terminal. So if you're feeling like why we have to type this node, so basically it's saying because in Windows or in any operating system, if you double click over any program, it does not automatically runs. We have to specify like what that particular program are going to use to be executed. So like in Windows, basic defaults file extension is .exe, but we are using .js. That's why we have to mention node. Then after that we have to type the name of the file. So these things are going to be much more clear to you as soon as we are going to we are progressing in our course. So just type node and name of the file, and as you can see I'm getting an output of hello world in the console panel. And you can type any JavaScript here. You can use for loops, iterations, classes, and all, if else, and lot of things. So it's whole JavaScript. But now how to make a server, like what about that application that is going to help us to connect to the internet? How we are going to make it? So for that Node.js covers up. Basically when we install Node.js also installed some of the basic core, what we can say, libraries, some kind of things into our app, what we say, into our computer, that we can use to make some useful applications, so that we don't have to write each and everything from the scratch. And one of that we have like a lot of them. So one of those application is library, basically what we can say, packages, HTTP. So it's very easy to use that. Just type const HTTP equals require. So if you're coming from front end, you are familiar with that import statement, import HTTP, something like that. Okay, I'm damn sure that you are comfortable with this kind of syntax, but sadly we cannot use this ES6 import syntax in Node.js we can use, but it would require a little bit more configuration and explanation. So, and I'm just keeping that part for the full program. Okay, but it's this is the replacement for that import part. Okay, so here we can import HTTP, then we have OS. Okay, then we have what we say file system. So we have a lot of libraries that we can use to develop our application. And if you want to know about the list of this application, just go to the Node.js documentation, and here you can see docs. Then we have dependencies. Just go over here, sorry, guides. And if what we say, sorry, we should go here. Okay, and we are using Node 17, and here you can see we have a lot of libraries. Here we have HTTP, then we have OS. So let's just open the OS. So every OS library help us to know about operating system, like how our operating system is working, how many CPUs do we have, and what is the performance, and etc etc. Then we have HTTP. HTTP module will help us to create some kind of servers and all. Then we have file system. So here we have file system, that FS, and it helps us to create and write files in our machine. Okay, so we are going to let's just use the file system one. So let's go over here. So here we have a file system. So first of all, let's just create a server. So HTTP require HTTP. So it's the first line you have to do, and don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. Let's just create a server. Const server equals to HTTP. So HTTP is a module that contains a function called create server. Okay, create server, and that's all. We have created a server successfully. So let me just start this application. Node index.js. Okay, but nothing happened. Like, how to check if my server is working or not? How this thing is going to work? So there is a thing that we have to listen, and I'm going to show you like what I'm trying to say. That okay, what is it? 3000. So here we have something called listening. So what is this listening? Okay, so we have to do this thing. And why we have to do this? And now if I start the application, as you can see, my program is not terminating. So if I just remove this line, that listen line, that extraordinary complicated line. So if I type this, as you can see, my program runs and terminates, and that's all. But if I type this line, if I just keep this line server.listen, and if I run the program, you can see my program is not terminating. It's sitting there for doing something. So what is this thing is, like, what is this 3000? So this 3000 is actually a port number, and you can use any port number of your liking. I just use 3000 for now. You can go with 1000, 2000, 3000, 8000, whatever you like. But what is this port number, and why we have to listen for something? So listen to me very carefully, and again, don't mind my drawing skills. Okay, so let's suppose it's our computer. So here we have a computer. Okay, so let me just type here, it's a computer, COM. And now we have created an application with Node.js. Okay, something like that, that is going to accept the response and require something like that. Okay, and this computer is connected to the internet. So let's just assume that this thing is connected to the internet. So here we have a internet, something like, let's just go with a circle for the internet. So we have a internet here. So every computer that is connected to internet have a IP address, and that IP address is very unique. So let's suppose if I want to connect, communicate to your computer at your home, I must need to know the IP address of your machine. Basically, that's all. But the thing is, each computer can have multiple application. Like in my case, my laptop have multiple application. My laptop have MS Word, Chrome, that Epic Pen, this software that is helping me to draw this thing. And we have a application for Zoom, for video calling, and lots of programs. And if I want to communicate to your computer, I'm not communicating to a computer, I'm just communicating to a particular application. Your mobile phone is also connected to the internet, but if I send you a message on Instagram, you receive that message on the Instagram. So how basically that message knows that it should go to the Instagram, not to the WhatsApp or not to the YouTube? Because of that port number. So your any application that is installed on mobile phone or laptop have a port number. So that is the part. So if IP address is my home address, port number is my room number. Okay, so port number is my room number. So if a delivery guy is coming to my home, it should know my IP address, also my room, uh, maybe, so to just to deliver that thing. So similarly, this port number is the port number I am giving to my application. It could be anything, but it should be unique. You can go with any number, so 8,000, 3,000. So these are some numbers that are free mostly. And listen, so listening, basically this listen, so we are listening on the internet, we are listening for a request through the internet. Okay, so that's the thing we are listening for on this particular port. So basically this is all about. So let me just go to it.
Sanjay sir,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess your camera
Hmm.
is free, sir. Can you just check
Uh,
once?
okay, just give me a second.
Okay.
It could be the
Meanwhile,
reason
guys,
because
yeah, I'll just fix the camera. Meanwhile, guys, can you just give me
hmm,
a confirmation? How is the lecture going so far? Are you guys actually able to understand like what are the basics of Node.js, right? As to just summarize, meanwhile, it fixes the cam. What we have learned so far is what is Node.js, how Node.js actually works, how you can actually start your first Node.js server. Like you just pull off a index.js file, right? Just console log and run it in terminal. That is, you write node and the file name, that is index.js. That's what you have learned till now. And then what you have learned is how to import, you can say, libraries, right? Not just libraries like OS, HTTP, file system. 300, 3000, it's just the mostly used port. You can use anything, any port of your like choice, as sir has actually mentioned. Okay, so how is your learning so far, guys? How many of you are actually doing it side by side? Okay, so good understanding, excellent, great. Okay, so we'll just give a couple of minutes to Sanjay sir to just fix his camera. So meanwhile, like, you guys, if you are like want to do some setup or something, right, install and just check. So VS Code is the editor which we are using. You can also use any editor of your choice. Atom, just don't use Notepad. Okay, just don't use Notepad. Apart from that, you can use any code editor. Before this, I tried to learn Node but didn't understand. But today, awesome. That's amazing, great. Okay, so you can use any port number, as sir has mentioned, right? You can use any port number of your choice. Okay, what plugins for VS Code is using? It is basically an autocomplete, or you can just put some AI based like, I guess there's some, I don't remember the name, but there's some plugin which auto completes. But it is better if you have the habit of typing it when you're learning for the first time, right? It's better to always type the whole code by your own. Once you get proficient, then you can use those plugins and everything. Okay, so I'm doing side by side. Yes, you can use any port number. So what is port number? It has mentioned when you run that program in terminal, right? It is assigned to a port number which you can go and check. So as mentioned, right, there's a building and there are room numbers in your building. So port number is basically the room number where your file is actually running. If we run server, definitely we'll use HTTPS import. Yes, yes, port number is mandatory. That's correct. Can we use another ID to code? Of course, you can use it. You can actually use any ID apart from Notepad. That's, don't do that. Yeah, GitHub Copilot also you can use. Practicing side by side, how you check port number. You can, if you're writing the code, right, you can actually see there, or if you have already running and don't know, there's actually, you can go and check in the resources tab in your computer, depending on the which operating system you are. Mostly if you are only mentioning, you can actually see, and if you just open the terminal, right, it will actually show on which port number your code is running, right, which sir will again show. Kindly explain attendance thing by OD. See, all you have to do is just go down in the description and there is attendance link in the chat, or and it is also pinned in the chat. You can just see the pinned text on the chat. It is the attendance link. What is meant by plugins? Plugins is basically a piece of code already written which simplifies things for you. A function, it can be any facility that is already coded by someone for you and you are just using it. How to run code? Okay, let me explain. If you are using VS Code, right, on the top of the VS Code you will see terminal. Okay, or you can use control plus that tilde sign, which will open the terminal for you, and you have to type node space the name of your file, and that will run the server for you. Okay, Sanjay sir, is this some? Yeah,
Am I audible and visible to you?
yes, now it's fixed. So meanwhile, you're gone, right?
Okay.
Of what we are learning, and so far the feedback is very good. And will we get to know about Express.js? I don't think we are going to use Express. That's another thing. We're just going to stick with Node, right, sir?
We can use Express also. Let's just go with
Okay.
Express.
Okay,
Okay,
so we are
let's do
going to
some
learn some
advanced
more
things.
things.
Okay.
Yeah, you are going to learn advanced things also in this essentials. So you will also learn about Express. So yeah, let's continue. Let's continue.
Just give me
Okay,
one more
so
second. I think my screen is not focused. Am I focused? Okay, doesn't
mm,
matter. We have to see the
I'll
VS
just
Code screen,
yeah,
not me.
I'll just put you into the yeah. Now I guess you are into the
And
layout.
again, don't mind my ears, okay, today. So, okay. So let's continue. Let me share my screen. So let me just go through the chat and I think stop sharing. I think my screen is sharing. Okay. So I actually use my mobile phone as a webcam because my mobile phone has a better camera than my webcam. So I can see most of your people are having doubt related to the port number. You can use any number. Basically, there are some numbers that you can't use because some of the application, as I told you, our lots of program are installed on my computer. So those application also use some port numbers. So we cannot use that port number. But 8,000, any number above 3,000 is mostly free. So you can use 3,001, 3,002, and anything like that. So this is the thing. And related to let me just close this thing. I was creating an application for the mobile application. So here. Mm, yes, okay. So what is Express? Yes, Pizza. Oh, your name is really good, Pizza. I'm going to explain the Express also to you. Yes. So actually, we have a bunch of modules, HTTP file system, and these modules, basically, modules is just like a package of some functions. So those functions, basically, here we have a function create server. So this function help us to create something, some basically to do something. So we have create server and a lot of functions that we are going to use down the line. So here we have created a server, and now this server is listening on the port 3000. So we are listening on this particular port, and my laptop is obviously connected to the internet. That's why like I'm having a live stream, but we are going to use the local host for that. So here we have a server, and to start, if you're using VS Code, just go to your terminal, just press Control J, or you can just terminal and a new terminal here and type node and name of that file index.js, and that's all. Our application is running very smoothly, and we are listening for some request over the internet. And if you are not feeling comfortable with the VS Code terminal, you can just go to the file. So here we have Node.js, and just open cmd in that particular folder. And if you're not using opening that cmd in that particular folder, then you have to like navigate to that particular folder. That's why I prefer to open cmd or PowerShell or any terminal of your liking. If you're using Linux, then you are using a different terminal. Any terminal will work. Just go over here and type node index.js and press enter. Sorry, I think I misspelled something. Okay, so basically it's saying that it's already running, so that's why I'm getting this error, because our server is already running here. So that's why it was throwing that error. And if I close this, and to stop the server, just press Control and C, that thing that we use. Let me just close this CLS. Okay. So close the server, just press Control C. So that shortcut that you used to copy. So that exact same shortcut used to close the server, okay, to terminate that program. So enough of talking. Let's just try to uh, get a first request from the server. So anyways, this function that listen is also a function, also accept a second parameter, and this parameter is a function So this parameter is function. You can use arrow functions or a regular function. And here you can type console.log server is running on port 3000. So this callback function executes if our server is working perfectly. So this if we have no errors, then this callback function is going to execute. Okay, so let's just start our server Node.js node the index.js, and here I'm getting, and output of server is running on port 3000. So we are getting this output because our server is running smoothly and this function got executed. Now here in this particular create server function, we can pass a callback function. And this callback function accept two parameter, request and the response. And I'm going to explain you like what is this request and response. And for the guys who were asking about what is this autocomplete tool I'm using GitHub Copilot for my auto completion because it saves a lot of time. So what is this request and responses? So let's just console the request first, console.log, because in a programming world always the print statement in Java in Python and console.log in JavaScript is the best way to debug and to know more about the thing. So console.log, and let's just console the request. Okay, so now our server is running, and as soon as you change anything in that file, you have to restart the server. So first you have to close the server and just restart the server. Now go to your browser of your any browser of your liking. Just go over here and type localhost 3000. So localhost here means my IP address, my own IP address. So that's why I'm typing here localhost, and the port number, type colon and the port number. So my IP address and the that port number. So here I'm saying that go to my IP address and go to that particular application. So that's why we use these port numbers. If I don't mention the port number, that thing don't know where to go. Okay, I'm in the front of your house, but now tell me what to do. That's why I have this support number here. So if I just press enter, so you can see that this round and round, this round thing is trying to connect to my server, and basically it's connected to my server. And if I just go to my code here, and you can see I'm getting this a huge object in my console panel. So I'm getting this huge console log. So let's just do this thing once more. Okay, keep these things side by side, and let's just go over here. And as soon as I press enter, we are getting this output. So this is the request is. So request basically means this request actually is the request that our server is getting from anywhere from the world. So right now I'm getting this request from my own computer. So request contain every detail about the basically the request, about what the somebody is asking. So if I just type request.url, it's going to tell me the URL from which URL we are getting the output. If I press enter, so again, as we have changed anything in this file, I have to again restart the server. So let's just restart the server, node index.js. And if I go over here and click here, so we are getting this. So this is the address because it's the home address. That's why we are getting this thing, that is slash thing. So now what is this responses? Okay, we got this thing that request contained the detail about the request, like what is the IP address from where we got the request, what was the address, and we have a bunch of thing in the request. Basically, it's not only about the URL, we have a bunch of thing in the request that we are going to use. Then what is this request responses? So let's just console log response again. Okay, so like we console log the request, let's just console log the response. So if I press enter here and try to connect to my server, so again I have to restart the server because as I told you, as soon as we change anything in that file, we have to restart the server. And if I press enter, and if I click here again, I'm getting again a huge object. So what is this object is? So basically this object contains a lot of functions that will help us to send the response back. So yes, we got the request, but now we have to send a response also. That's how we communicate, isn't it? So if I just keep on talking to you and if you're not responding, it doesn't matter. So that's why we have something called response. So let me just send a response. So it's very easy to do. Just type response.end and you can type anything. So I'm just saying hello, how are you? So it's the response that we are sending. And if I just console, and we have to restart the server, so I restarted the server, and let's go over here. And as you can see, as soon as I connect to my server is responding here, hello, how are you? And I can change the response. You can send anything. You can send a video link, you can send a huge file, you can do a lot of things. So if I just type here, okay, so hello from the server, okay, hello from the server. And just if I go over here, I have to restart my server again. And if I press enter, so here it's saying hello from the server. So we have first successfully created a server that is responding. So basically, to be honest, you can deploy this thing to on the cloud. So or you can just share your IP address. And I know we have to do a lot of things in between of them, but it's a completely working server. We are getting request from the internet and we are sending a response. So that's all. That is the whole goal. So now we have to somehow make this thing like a utility. We are going to not just send any junk response. We are going to calculate some kind of thing. So let's just assume we are going to develop a server that going to compress the images. So somebody on the from the world is going to send us an image, and we are going to compress that image, and then we are going to respond that compressed image. So this is the ideology behind the servers and backend dollar. So that's all. So let me just create a server that's not just send hello world, that can send a response depending on that request. Okay, depending what the user has requested, we are going to set the response. Okay, so this thing is called routing. So I know routing may sound a little bit odd to you, but in the backend world we call this thing routing. So routing actually means depending on the what was the route, how basically user somebody on the internet requested us, we specifically send the response. So we can get the address, like on which address. So what is this address actually means? Address nothing, just after my IP address and my port number, anything written after this is the address. Okay, so this is the basic, not address, it's the route. So we have here a route. So let me just go over here and let's just console.log request dot url, and let me just go to the terminal. Let's just close everything, and if I start my server, and let me just type here hello. Okay, and if I press enter, as you can see, I'm getting an output of hello here, and we can change the thing. Okay, how, and I'm getting how here, and you can change this thing. And so depending what is the thing after that is slash, we are going to send the response. Okay, so it's very easy to do. All you have to do is to use if and else statement. So if request dot url is equals to slash hello, we are going to send the response. So first of all, let me just show you one thing. Let me just show you one thing. If I just close this thing and if I press enter here, as you can see, this thing is keeping on like revolving. Why this thing is happening? Because we are not sending any response. So if I just do here, if I just console.log request.url, so we are getting the request but we are not sending any response. That's why my Chrome browser is trying, basically is trying to get a response. So everything is working fine, there is no issue, but we are not sending any response. So that's why my browser is like waiting for the response. Okay, so it will try to get the response. It will wait for the response for a minute or so, and then after that it will completely shut down and say that server is not responding. So for that we have to send a response. So let's just go over here and let's just send a response dot end I am okay. Okay, so now this thing will not happen. So as soon as I press enter, so first of all we have to restart the server, and we are going to fix this problem, like again and again we have to close the server and then to start the server. Okay, so now if I press enter, you can see we are getting the response immediately. So as you can see, it's not revolving, it's not waiting for the response, because we are sending a response here. So depending on the URL, now we know about the URL and we can send the response. We are going to send a specific response. So let's just go over here and just type if request.url is equals to slash home, we're going to send a response dot end. Okay, HTML. Okay, so you can send HTML also, but if I'm just going to send plain uh, plain text. Okay, hello from home. Okay, again, if the request.url is all about, okay, so about I am a developer. Okay, so if, okay, if request.url url is equals to contact, so I'm going to send request.contact me at let's upgrade. Okay, so depending what is the URL, basically what was that URL, after my IP address is very much required, that port number is very much required, but after that you can change basically. So depending what is the basically what is the URL, I'm sending different response. And if nothing works, so okay, let's just go over here, and if I go over here and type home, home, again obviously we have to restart the server, so it's a really headache. So we are going to fix this problem. Okay, so as I'm sent home here, so hello from the home. Okay, if I type go over to the about, we are getting I am a developer, and somebody use this contact here, contact me at let's upgrade. So why I told you about this thing, yes, this thing not look so efficient and helpful, so but this is a core philosophy of a backend development. Like, depending on the request we have to send a particular response. So this is the core ideology of a API. If you have used a API in your front end, I'm not talking about all of you, maybe some of you have used any kind of API, third-party API for the weather request or something like that. In that case, I'm damn sure that you have used these kind of syntax, the www dot something something like that slash something like that. I'm going to also show you an example here. So if I just go over here and type request response.in, so it's a basically it's a website that provides us a free backend. So if I just click over here, as you can see here, request response.in, so it's a basically free API. Somebody on the somebody around the world created a server and hosted it. So here you can see, depending on that thing after written after that slash, he or she is changing the response. So if I type page equals to 1 or 2, we are changing the response. So this is a core ideology of a backend. And then again, we also have to like focus on some security concerns, because anything that is connected to internet is not safe, even if we are not safe on the internet. So how can suppose that our server is safe on the internet? So that is the thing. So let me just go through the chats. Okay, okay, what is end here? Basically the Tanu, so end is we are just ending the response dot end. We can also add more things, so we are going to do that. Okay, what is the difference? Response dot send and okay, Aritra Kumar Bara. Don't mind if I'm mispronouncing your name. Response dot send is used in the Express, so I'm going to explain about the Express also. And response dot end is used in that bare HTTP, so I'm going to cover that part also. Sir, at what level we should know to learn? At what level we should know to learn Node? I do developer Reactor. Yes, you are completely good to learn Node.js, because learning this backend skill is so important right now to become a full stack developer. You cannot bet on React.js just to land a job. You have to have that full stack tag on yourself. Okay, what is end? So basically here we are ending, so end is a function. So response dot end, so request and response are the object. So response object contains all the details about the person who is requesting us, and response is the object that have a bunch of functions that will help us to send a response. So response is just like a phone for us. So just like response dot send, so it's like dialing a number. So for I'm just trying to give you an example. And why we are not using HTTPS? This you can use HTTPS, but I'm not using HTTP. There is no proper reason for that. I'm just using HTTP. You can use HTTPS also. Sir, okay, Vishal, sir, we can use Nodemon dependency by which, yes, yeah, sure, we are going to do that. Just now we are going to do that. Port number must be many numbers that you create server. No, there is no particular requirement for that port number, but the port number 3000, 8000, these numbers are generally free. That's why we use these things. Okay. What is the request.url? So as I told you, shu shanta, so request is the object that contains all the details about the request. Okay, so the url, that url, okay, so here we have the youtube. So youtube.com is the masking, basically it's the IP address, and this thing is the url. So this part is the url. So depending on the url we are sending the response. Okay, so what if we write something after the end? Okay, once you have sended the response, you cannot do anything else. Okay, once you have sended the response, the story is complete. So it's a single communication: request, response, and end. So this thing is called REST API. Okay. Sir, content से ठीक दिखे, could you please remove your webcam? Okay, so don't look at me, just look at the screen. Okay.
So I guess
uh,
now it should help.
is my screen is not visible properly?
It is visible, sir. It was, I guess, just because of
Okay.
the screen layout which we had, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
guys,
sure. Okay, yeah.
I believe you have actually understood like whatever we have learned today.
Hmm. Hmm.
What is Express? Just keep it as a surprise, Praveen. What is Express? So if
Yeah,
you get to know everything under day one, there's nothing left.
yeah, yeah.
It's always to do
We are
like
going to
things.
cover Express tomorrow. Yeah, don't worry,
Yeah.
guys. We are going to complete each and everything. Okay, don't worry.
So what all is left for today's agenda, if I can ask?
We are just going to do one thing. That the problem that we have to keep on restarting our server. So
Wow.
as soon as you install that thing, that node, there is a thing called npm got automatically installed on your computer. And what is this? Npm is a completely different story, but in a nutshell, it's again a software that helps us to install some packages. For now, it's not necessary for us to understand about npm. Just go over to your terminal. Okay, just type npm I Nodemon. So just and press enter. So that's all we have to do. Just do npm I and Nodemon, and just wait for a while. First of all, I think we have to do one more step. Okay, let me just do from the scratch. So let's just create a proper server, and it would take only 5 minutes. So let me just create a new folder. Okay, and server, and let's just go over here. Let me just open my VS Code, and in the VS Code, follow me. Just go to your terminal and type npm in it. Okay, and press enter. And it's going to ask you a lot of things. Just keep on pressing enter, 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 enter. So it's a proper way of creating a node package. So it's a basically, in a nutshell, it's just a way to define that what we are going to do. So it's just going to create us a file. So it just, we are saying that what we are going to do. And now just type npm I Nodemon and press enter, and wait for a while. And for now, let's just create a new file here called index or app.js. Okay, that app.js. And let me just copy paste that exact same code here. So where we can find that code? Okay, so let me just copy paste this code. Control plus C, control plus V, and save this. Okay, so here we have saved our code. And now don't try to type that exact syntax node. Just type nodemon and app.js. That's all. So now it's going to change, restart the server as soon as I change anything. So I'm just going to recap. Just type npm init and just press enter, enter, enter. Then type npm I nodemon. I'm going to spell that for you: Nodemon. And after that, instead of typing node index.js, type nodemon index.js. Okay, that's all. Now if I change anything in my server, so it will just restart my server. So that's all. So it's a tool basically that help us in while developing the things. So guys, that's enough for today. And that was a whole introduction about backend and how we are going to do things for in upcoming sections. So I hope you enjoyed the session today, and do give me some feedbacks. And okay, so that's all, sir, for today's session.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. So,
Yeah.
guys, to quickly sum up, right, what we have learned. Let me just take both of us on the screen. Yeah. To just quickly write what we have learned in the day one of Node.js is what Node.js is, why was it actually built, right? How it actually
Mm-hmm.
functions, the basic Node.js karta
Yeah.
kya hai when you talk about like running a server, and how to install Node.js. Like you go to Node.js website and just install basing your depending on your operating system. Then how you open like how you write a first Node.js file. You have to use JavaScript as I mentioned. We have used VS Code as the editor. You can use any code editor of your choice except Notepad. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is something you have to avoid. Just delete it if you can. And yeah,
Yes.
the file extension for JS files, sorry, for Node files will be JS because of course it's a JS
Yes.
runtime. And to
Mm-hmm.
run Node.js, you can use Node space the name of your file. Basically, by default, we use index.js, but it can be anything when you start building
Anything.
complex applications, right? And then you learned about how to import libraries. Like we have seen first, like there are three steps, right? First, you have to import, then you have to initialize, and
Mm.
then you have to use. So
Yeah.
always, right,
Yeah.
just remember these three things. Whenever you use anything plugin or library which is already done, first thing is to import, or which is called as linking the file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did that using initializing and using the word as require. Then you initialize
Mm.
it like creating an instance or creating
Mm.
you can say just setting it, turning it on, if you can put it in
Yeah.
the easiest way. And then you call the functions which are given to you in that library or a plugin or anything. That is basically a code written by someone already to make things easier for you. And then you saw what is port number. As I mentioned, it's basically a room in a lot of a full building. It's a room, right? So you know where you will find Sanjay sir, it's like 3,000. Okay, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
And basically what request and responses. And then you started, and we have stopped with Nodemon. Nodemon is basically a utility of, you can just consider it node monitor. Okay, that's how I remember it. Someone which monitors the node server for you. You don't have to again and again
Yeah.
stop and start the
Yeah.
server. It automatically does that for
Mm.
you. So that's why we are stopping for today, guys. Tomorrow same time we are going to start like 6:30. Take your laptops, practice what has been taught
Yeah.
today. You can find this lecture in the recording mode. If you have started midway or something, practice what you have learned. Tomorrow we'll start again from where we have stopped, and we'll take things forward from here. Okay, so any doubts, guys, just mention in the chat quickly before we stop for the day.
Okay, so there is a guy I think who is getting an error called Nodemon is not recognized. So okay, Praveen. Basically, you didn't install that npm. That's why you're getting that error. So just redo the things, and if in that again, if you're getting that same error, that I'm going to show you another command. And if you want to resolve that by yourself, you can just go out to the internet and type install nodemon globally, and you will find a command and that you can use. Okay, but you can just go through that session again. Okay.
Right, so guys, before we stop for the day, right, I'll just take a moment to tell you, like, if you guys are interested and want to go into the real depths of what web development can do for you, or to understand basically what all things are actually possible when you speak about web development, right? So we have a full-fledged course. I'll just give you an intro before we wrap up for the day. So we have a full stack course in web development, so anyone who is here to start their career or kick off their career in the field of web development and wants a hand-holding program where we'll start everything from basics to the end of where you go and learn deploying full stack projects. Okay, so we have this web development program. It's on the website again. You can just go and enroll. Even you will see links coming in the chat. Just go and go through the program. So it's a complete 6 months program where we will start from everything. When I say everything, basics of programming or what internet is, what client side or server side. If I have to show the curriculum, right, we have nailed down each and everything, which will get you 100% job guarantee is what you're providing in this program. You start from the very basics of internet, and then you'll start learning the basic, that the mother of all languages, C++. And we're going to focus more on DSA, which is required for students to get a good job in product based companies. Okay, so that is our target, to get you jobs above 5-6 lakhs. Okay, that is our target, and for that DSA is something very important. So we are going to nail down everything and make you masters in DSA. And then you start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Node, Express, MongoDB, React. And throughout the course, right, you also learn system design and cloud computing as well. So throughout the course, you are going to build projects, 15 plus projects spread throughout the course, to make sure you are actually implementing what you have learned in the whole program for building a portfolio and projects. You can participating into hackathons or internal competitions which we organize. And at the end of program, right, once you complete the program successfully, you will have a certificate like this, which is a government recognized certificate, which is by NSCDC and Skill India. And of course we have LetsUpgrade and ITM. So this is what a certificate is going to look like. And all our trainers, so we'll have Sanjay sir also here to come and teach
Yeah.
you. Okay, so all our trainers are industry professionals, and we are not having any coaching institute trainers. So you get an additional benefit of learning from them how things actually work in the industry. Okay, so that is some additional thing which you will get. So if you are interested, right, if you just want to know more about the program or try it out the whole program, you can just go and hit this button, enroll now. Okay, and the prices of the program, if I have to just go, is you can just compare it with outside. It's just 5,767 per month. We have 12 months of no cost EMIs available to your eligibility for the EMI. This is the program price, and that's it. And once you complete this program successfully, we assure you a job of more than 3.5 lakhs, provided you complete it successfully. That's just 10x, and it can range from 3.5 to 25. We have done the maximum highest placement of 26 lakhs with these programs. With the quality which we are providing you and the trainers, we want to make sure that you get your dream jobs. If you want, you can just go and enroll and check the program out. Okay, so said that tomorrow same time, okay, we are going to meet here, and we are going to take where we have left off. And so thank you
Yeah.
all for joining today. Be safe. So someone is back. Okay, so like it's just the like Stranger Things season 4, monsters are coming here,
Yeah.
corona is coming again. Okay, so be safe, stay at home, and I'll see you tomorrow along with your trainer Sanjay Kumar. Signing
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
for the day. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
I'll put some music for you guys for a few minutes if you want to stay and chat with your friends.